Where we started. I've been a gearhead for as long as I can remember. While other kids were playing video games, I was elbow deep in engines, learning what made them tick. By 16, I could rebuild a transmission blindfolded. And by 25, I opened my own repair shop. Small, just 2 bays, but it was mine. It smelled like grease and motor oil and ambition. That's where I met her. She came in one afternoon in a sleek, imported sports car. The dealership quoted her $3,000 for repairs. I told her I could do it for half. She looked at me like I'd just performed magic. And when I explained the problem without talking down to her, she smiled with this genuine warmth that stopped me cold. She was finishing law school, stressed, overworked, buried in debt. I was a mechanic with calloused hands and a dream held together by bolts and late nights. We couldn't have been more different. But we clicked. She started dropping by the shop with lunch. Not just takeout, like real meals she made herself. She'd sit with me during breaks, asking questions about what I was fixing, genuinely interested. We talked about everything and nothing, hours slipping by unnoticed. A year later we moved in together. 2 years after that we got married. It wasn't some grand, luxurious wedding. Just friends and family at her uncle's lake house, sun sparkling off the water. It was perfect. We bought a fixer-upper and poured ourselves into it. I handled the hard repairs. She picked out paint swatches and light fixtures. We were building something real, something ours. And yet, even then, looking back, I think I saw the first shadow of what would come. Little comments. Long glances at her phone. But I brushed it off. I mean, we were happy. Weren't we? At least I thought we were. I just didn't realize that love, like an engine, needs more than sparks to keep running. Success that pulled us apart. Her career took off like a rocket after she passed the bar. She joined a mid-size firm and quickly became one of their rising stars. Corporate law, long hours, constant pressure, but the money was good. Real good. At first we laughed about it. I joked that she fixed corporations while I fixed cars. She'd come home late, tired but proud. I was proud too, of her, of us. The shop was growing. I added 2 more bays, hired my first mechanic. I wasn't just under the hood anymore. I was handling payroll, talking to suppliers, running a real business. We were both chasing our dreams. But somewhere in the chase, we started drifting. She missed more dinners. Canceled weekend plans. I told myself it was just a phase. That once she got settled in, things would go back to normal. But normal kept moving farther away. The real blow came at her firm's holiday party. I wore my best button-down. Cleaned up nice, or so I thought. But when she introduced me to her colleagues, I caught that look in her eyes. Like she wasn't embarrassed exactly, but maybe ashamed? One of the partners asked what I did, and before I could answer she said, "He owns an automotive business." Not, "He owns a repair shop." Just, automotive business. I noticed more after that. How she corrected my grammar in front of her friends. How she tensed when I talked about engines around her coworkers. How our house, our home, was never a place she invited them into. One night, after another canceled dinner, I asked her outright, "Are you ashamed of me?" She scoffed. Said I was being sensitive. That I didn't understand how the corporate world worked. And maybe I didn't. But I understood what it felt like to be slowly erased from the life we built together. I planned our 5th anniversary down to the detail. A surprise trip to the coast. Sunset dinners. Beach walks. She canceled 2 days before. Work emergency. I went alone. Sat on the sand with a beer in my hand and the sound of waves crashing around me, wondering if I'd lost her, or if I'd ever truly had her at all. I didn't know it then, but the distance between us wasn't just emotional anymore. It was real. And it was about to blow wide open. Her story, her circus. At first, I thought blocking Brittany and her circus of enablers would be the end of it. I was wrong. The rumors started slow. Whispers from mutual friends, vague subtweets. Then I started getting texts from unfamiliar numbers. "You humiliated her. How could you leave her like that?" She was under so much pressure. Her family, who once called me the most stable thing to ever happen to Brittany, now painted me as the villain. Her father, who barely spoke to me before, left a drunken voicemail at midnight. "You humiliated my daughter. You think you're better than us? Well, Sue, you owe us everything." The narrative twisted into something unrecognizable. In their version, I called off the wedding. Brittany was a poor, confused girl manipulated by an older man and overwhelmed by a boring fiancé with suffocating expectations. They didn't mention the text she sent me. They didn't mention Nolan. They never mentioned the plan to use me like a human ATM. Then came the threats. Her sister, Casey, Dmed Matt, my best man. "You better convince Adam to make this right. We'll expose the truth." Matt posted a screenshot of the message with the caption, "Truth, you tried to finesse my boy. He upgraded instead." I said nothing online. No public callouts. No cryptic quotes. Just calm facts when people asked. She left me via text 5 minutes before the wedding to run off with another man. The plan failed. Then she came back. That's the truth. But Brittany? Her Instagram became a theater of tragedy. Escaping toxicity. Finding my truth. #survivor. #healing journey. #abandoned not broken. It would have been funny if it wasn't so delusional. She posed in cafes and beaches with tearful eyes and filtered filters, pretending to rise from ashes she set herself on fire to create. And the worst part? Some people bought it. Paradise was never meant for her. I was done playing defense. No more explanations. No more responding to gossip. Instead, I looked at that $18,000 non-refundable honeymoon to the Maldives and made a decision. I couldn't get the money back, but I could change the second name on the ticket. So I called Matt. "Dude," I said, "how do you feel about surfing in the Maldives next week?" There was silence. Then laughter. Then, "You serious?" As a heartbreak. 2 weeks later, we boarded a first-class flight. Me, my best man, and our surfboards. When we arrived, the staff were confused. They'd been expecting a honeymooning couple. Instead, they got two dudes grinning like kids at summer camp. We didn't care. We surfed every morning under golden skies. Ate like kings. Napped in hammocks. Laughed until we forgot why we hurt. One night, a waiter leaned in and whispered, "My wife left me 2 days before our wedding, for my cousin." He tapped his chest. "It gets better." That hit harder than I expected. The ocean reminded me how small we are, how powerless heartbreak becomes when you're staring down endless water under a rising sun. By day 5, I posted one photo. Just Matt and me, surfboards under arm, grins stretched wide. Caption, "New tides, better rides." We didn't tag anyone. Didn't name names. But the universe works fast. A mutual friend screenshotted the photo. Sent it to Brittany. Apparently, she cried for hours, not because she missed me but because I took her dream trip. The one with the dolphins, the overwater bungalow, the golden tan she thought she'd wear for followers. She wasn't mourning a lost love. She was mourning a missed aesthetic. And that, more than anything, told me I'd escaped exactly in time. No more apologies. I used to think being a mechanic was just a job. But now I know, it's who I am. The grease under my nails, the sound of an engine firing back to life, the satisfaction of building something that works. It's not just labor. It's legacy. I stopped apologizing for it the day I saw her sitting alone in that restaurant. She looked up at me with eyes full of memories and maybe regret. And I realized, I didn't owe her anything anymore. Not pain. Not forgiveness. Not explanation. The life I'm living now? I built it with my own 2 hands. My shop's bigger than ever. 8 bays. 6 employees. Fully booked for months. I even teach weekend workshops now. Pass on what I've learned to younger gearheads chasing their own dreams. And Tessa? She's still around. Still asking questions. Still laughing at my bad jokes and riding with me on weekends. There's no rush. No pressure. Just 2 people building something slowly, honestly, without pretending to be anything other than who they are. Sometimes I still pass by the old house. The one she and I fixed up. There's a new family there now. I see bikes on the driveway. Toys in the yard. Laughter floating through the windows. I don't feel bitter. I don't feel broken. I feel free. Because I've learned something important. Love that asks you to be less than who you are, that makes you shrink to fit, isn't love at all. You can't bolt a broken piece into a perfect machine and expect it to run. You've got to rebuild. From scratch if you have to. And this time I made sure every part fit. No more hiding. No more trying to prove my worth. I am a mechanic. And that's more than enough.